All motivation podcasts are strictly based on opinion. Any facts given should and will be backed up by a source. If a source is not given, then it should not be taken otherwise.
Now I'ma I get it until my numbers call. Till I'm just a name and a memory on my homies' wall. I be moving O's, I'm trying to just build my dough up. Till I'm just a snake, my toes up.
Welcome to the newest episode of Motivation Inspired. I am the host, Curtis Moore, aka Curly Mo, or of course you can call me Mo. And today's episode, I feel like it's going to be a good one. It's a special episode, and I think you're going to like it. Before we get started, though, I need to say that this month is actually going to feature 3 podcasts that I actually recorded in December. And I'm sorry if I'm having some technical difficulties. I'm picking up some sound because I was having some issues, so I hope it doesn't distract you too much. Okay, but today's episode is one that I wanted to get off of my chest. It is one of those venting episodes. It is something that really bothers me and is going to set the tone for the upcoming year. I haven't exactly got a series or a topic that I'm going to do. I'm more than likely going to go back to doing some topics, and I'm also going to pick up some of the topics that I mentioned this past year and the year before that. So it is going to be a great year upcoming. But nevertheless, this episode is going to be called The World That We Live In. It is a special episode, The World That We Live In. And the reason why I chose that topic is because lately there has been a lot going on, not only in my life, but the people around me, their life. You can see, if you look out the window, you can just look and see what type of world we live in. And I feel like that this is one of those episodes that I need to just get off my chest and get out there. It is going to be a very important episode. It is not going to be the per se normal format that I always do it, but at the same time, it's going to be kind of similar. So I hope that you bear with me. I've been in the hospital just recently. I was in the hospital overnight, and they almost kept me for 2 or 3 days. Apparently, I have pneumonia in one of my lungs. And on top of that, I have acute bronchitis. And for those of you that has been following me know that I already have the condition sarcoidosis. And all of those mixed together is not very great. And I could have died. I mean, I'm not saying I was on death's end, but you never know when you're going to die. And I don't want to bring the mood down, but the fact is that's how serious it was. So y'all just bear with me, because the thing is, God has blessed me, and if he has blessed me to move forward, I just told somebody the other day that said you need to be resting and stuff, and I am resting, but I also feel like that if God blessed you with something, he's not going to leave you hanging. He's going to see it through. And I feel like that if he feels that I don't need to do anything or do this or sing or whatever the case may be, I feel like that he would give me some sign of not doing it. So y'all just keep me in your prayers. Give me your good vibes however you feel. But we're going to move forward. But anyway, the format for this episode, like I said, is going to be a little bit different. This is going to have several topics that is going to be discussed. So let's begin. This is the world that we live in. A world where instead of taking responsibility, we justify everything to make our wrongs right. That's the world that we live in today, folks. When anything that we do wrong, all we have to do is have a reason to justify it. I could go to the grocery store and I could steal their food, and I could get caught and get arrested. The world that we live in today will say, well, if he's hungry and he grabs the food, he shouldn't be in trouble. He shouldn't be in trouble. That's the world we live in today. And yes, that would be the liable thing. But at the same time, there are rules we set into place, and we should be held accountable for it. Now, my feelings on that is, if the person was hungry, they could have went about it a different way. But when you're also hungry, it's harder for you to think. But the fact is, the world that we live in today, all we have to have is an excuse, and that justifies what we do. Well, the husband went and cheated on the wife. Well, I cheated because my wife wasn't giving me sex. But you're married to your wife. Why didn't you divorce them? Why go out? So is that justified? If I turned around and I killed a man because he called my wife a bitch, is that justified? Well, he shouldn't have called her that. Well, is it justified? But this is the world that we live in today. This is the world that we live in. A world where kids who have never lived as an adult think that they are grown, and parents are allowing it. This is the world that we live in. I have seen too many times, I've seen around me, and I've seen all over the world, and you see it on TV, that these kids that are growing up, because they watch all these videos that are adult videos, because parents don't take the time to make sure a kid is in their place and allow them in conversations or even discuss adult situation with kids. Kids now think that they're grown and that they can do what they want to do. And the parents are allowing this. The parents are allowing this. So when it boils down to it, the parent, when the parent needs to correct a child, you find that they don't correct them like they should be correcting them. They let the kid talk to them any kind of way. Let me go back. I don't want to say they, because I am not the perfect parent either. So let me go back. We allow our kids to talk to us any kind of way. Me personally, my daughter will know that no. But the fact is, the kids are living in our house, and we allow them to talk to us any kind of way. All because we're not wanting to be the parents that our parents was. We think our parents was too hard on us, or we think that it doesn't work. So we make an excuse about it and say, well, our kid, that's my kid, I can't do this and I can't do that. But your kid think they're grown. Your kid think they're grown. So what's going to happen if something happens to you? What's going to happen to your kid? If something happens to me, what's going to happen to my kids if I don't train them the way that I'm supposed to? The Bible says, spare the rod, spoil the child. And even if you're not a believer of the Bible, if you turn around and don't discipline your kids, you see what happens. Well, I discipline my kids. Well, how do you do it? Well, I whoop my kid, okay? And so what happens after you whoop them? I grab them, I hug them, and I tell them what they did. There you go. A child, if as long as you coddle a child is going to feel like they can do what they want to do. They go get in trouble for that minute, and all they have to do is go and get hugs, and everything is okay. No, you have got to teach that child. But this is the world that we live in today. We're allowing kids that ain't even supposed to be adult that haven't stepped 1 foot out in the world as an adult. And I ain't talking about because they go out and they pay a phone bill or pay a light bill. I'm talking about having to take care of their own self. You living in your parents' house and you're sitting here saying, well, I'm grown, but when the light bill comes out, let the parent not pay the light bill, the house note, or pay the garbage bill, your phone bill, or something like that, and you handle that for 2 months, try to handle all that. And then you'll see how it feels. You buy your own car and have to take care of your own car, and you see how it feels. But parents aren't allowing kids to do that because they're afraid of the kids having those issues. So this is the world that we live in today. We live in a world where parents are afraid to be hands-on on their kids, so they would rather let them disrespect them. And that goes with that last topic. The kids get to talking back and wanting to and saying little things and stuff like that, and we're afraid to punch them in their throat. Yeah, I have a little Medea. My granny was a tough one. My mama was a tough one until she got grandkids. Then she got a little less tough, but that's normally how it works when you get grandkids. But we all grew up. The reason why we have the respect that we do is because our parents did stuff like that. And it ain't just about putting your hands on the kids. It's about just teaching them respect, period. When an adult is talking to an adult and a child gets to trying to interrupt, back then we used to get popped. Back then we used to get cussed out or whatever the case may be. Now you find kids doing that and you sitting here seeing the same thing over and over. Hey son, hey son, hey daughter, hey daughter, hey son, stop it, stop it, stop it. I say stop it. I said stop it. I said stop it. Stop it. You're going to get a whooping. You're going to get a whooping. You about to be grounded. You about to be grounded. You about to be grounded. That's how it is nowadays. Back then we was told once, maybe a second time. But after that, it wasn't no talking. It was a whooping, a punch, or something. But now you got these kids sitting here wanting to disrespect and try to act in a certain way because they feel like they can. But it's the parents that is allowing this. And then they're like, well, we're afraid that this, okay. Well, the world is not, exactly, the world is not going to be nice. So if you're coddling your kid, then what you think is going to happen when you leave this world? The reason why the work rate is getting so low now is because parents have not instilled how important it is to work in their kids' life. Or the parents is working so much to try to provide for the kids so that their kids ain't having to work, that the kids don't understand how important it is to work and have your own. And then the kids have the nerve to disrespect the parents. They have the nerve to disrespect the parents in their own house. But guess what? This is the world that we live in today. This is the world that we live in, where ratchetness is the new cool rather than self-respect. You go on social media and social media is the worst. Social media is the worst. You go on social media, I can scroll my Facebook now, and 9 times out of 10, I'm going to see some girl, woman, whatever, trying to shake their ass, twerking and stuff like that, showing that off. Then I'll turn around and I'll scroll and I'll see some kind of fight video. And then I'll turn around and I'll see people going back and forth on social media about stuff. That's all you see. And people is praising this. You look on TV and all you see is these reality shows where people is out doing this and that and other. Just the other day, I was watching that whole thing with T.I. and his son, where his son was acting a fool, and T.I. had to set him straight. But people is praising that's all that's going on. Yeah, T.I. should have corrected his son, but that's being shown to the world, and people is praising that stuff. You got these female rappers that's talking about eating booty and stuff like that, praising that kind of stuff. Like, I'm all for a female being freaky and stuff in the bedroom and stuff like that, but there are certain lines that you do not cross. There are certain lines that you do not cross, but people is praising this. You watching all these people dress this certain way and that certain way, and that is being praised all on social media. All this drama-filled stuff is being praised on social media. If you look on the news, it ain't even about the news that's going on in the world. It's more about things that's going on in celebrity life and things that's going on in professional life more than it is about the actual news. Because all that stuff is making money now. People don't have respect anymore. They're praising disrespect more. But this is the world that we live in. This is the world that we live in, where people are out for themselves rather than someone else. People are out for themselves rather than someone else. Screw that person. I don't care as long as I get mine. That's what's going on with dating now. Screw that person. You have so-called, quote-unquote, friendships where they're friends and cool until one of them needs something. They're in need. And then when they're not in need anymore, or when they're in need, then where are the friends at? People are out for themselves now. They don't care about nobody else. Well, who cares what that person thinks? Who cares how they feel? That wife slept with that man, or that woman slept with that man's husband. The woman's on there saying, who cares about the other female? As long as I get that dick, that's all that matters. Not knowing that karma's real, but then expect somebody to feel for her when she ends up years on down the line getting married and her husband is sleeping around on her. But it doesn't matter, because at that moment, we're out for ourselves. But this is the world that we live in. This is the world that we live in, where dating someone is more about what you can get out of another person rather than love. There's no unity no more. They're not in dating. When you're trying to date somebody, it isn't about trying to unify and come together to see what we can do. It's about Well, if I'm a man, what can that woman do for me? Will she give me sex whenever I want it? Will she cook and clean? I need somebody that can cook and clean for me and take care of me. If you're a woman, I need a man that has a job, has this type of money and this and that and other. If you look back in the olden days, now I ain't talking about back in the olden days, but even my generation when I was a kid. And you see this household, if you look in this household, these households, it doesn't matter if the marriage didn't work. They came together and worked things out. And I'm not saying work things out as far as stay together. A lot of them did. Some of them ended up divorces way later. But what I mean as far as work things out is they came up with a plan and they worked together to get over. They worked together to get over. They may have had land together and they might be arguing over it and it might get divorced or whatever, but they got that stuff together. They got a house together. They raised kids together. All this, even if they did get a divorce and split up, they still work together to make sure that kid have. But you don't see that now. You don't see people trying to date for that. They got their own agenda. Well, if his ding dong ain't big, then I don't want it. Well, if she can't give me sex what I want, then I don't want it. Y'all, I know I'm cheesy. I'm very cheesy, but I still just love this. But anyway, the point of the matter is, people is not trying to date to formulate a partnership, to unify. Nowadays, a relationship comes and goes. And now relationships have more people. It's not about love and unity again. It's about satisfaction. I feel like that if I'm not enough for one person and one person's not enough for me, then something is wrong. I understand that you have these people that are in polyamorous relationships that want to work as a threesome, but that's just how I feel. But this is the world that we live in today. This is the world that we live in. We're all about satisfaction. It's not about unity and coming together as one to create. This is the world that we live in. All right, y'all. I am going to take a break. And when I come back, I will finish up the world that we live in. So y'all stay tuned. Welcome back to Motivation Inspired, and we are talking about the world that we live in today. So we're going to get right back into it. This is the world that we live in, where sex is no longer sacred, but it is now exclusively a tool. And what I mean by that, sex used to be a sacred thing. And I know there's people out there that's like, oh God, here comes this, that, and other. But that's one of the problems nowadays. People is now trivializing things to the point to where they don't make it important. But one of the problems is people is taking away the sacredness in everything. And sex used to be a sacred thing. We used to date and try to go after that woman. That woman used to try to hold out so that in the end, when it finally happens, bam, it was something big time. And yeah, we're supposed to wait to have sex when we're married, but even before that, men used to try hard to come after to get that. And women used to turn around and try hard to keep them from getting that. And it made it sacred. I don't want to put it up on a pedestal, but that's the problem. We don't put that stuff on the pedestal that it should be on. But now it is so easy that a man can go up to a woman and say a few words, and after about an hour or so, he can go get it. A woman can turn around and she needs her bills paid, so all she has to do is say, hey, come lick this for a little while, and her bills is paid. It used to be to a point to where you had to try hard, and now all you have to do is go out and pay somebody to get it. I mean, yes, there's been prostitutes all our lives and stuff. Neighborhoods had people that could go out and, you know, everybody in there had a neighborhood that they knew somebody that they could go to get it, and all they had to do was pay. That ain't nothing new. But it's so easy to do it now. More people is making a career out of giving it up. It's funny. I mentioned this in some of the other podcasts, but I laugh to this day because now I can talk to somebody in a genuine fashion, and that person will say, hey, I got quote unquote content. You ought to buy my content. I'm like, so basically what you're saying is you want me to pay you to see your stuff, your titties, your coochie. Something that I probably would never, ever get. But you want me to pay when I could just go on Google and see what I want, some a lot better than what you have to offer? And people is on this. Same with the OnlyFans. People is paying for OnlyFans to turn around and watch somebody do all this stuff that they can Google and see on the internet. And the bad thing about it is a lot of these OnlyFans, if they wait a couple of months, they're getting leaked on the Google anyway, so you can see what you want anyway. But this is the world that we live in today. Sex is not sacred anymore. People is not making it a big deal anymore. This is the world that we live in, where we are friends until it no longer benefits us. I mentioned that earlier. We're friends until it no longer benefits us. You don't have lifelong friends anymore. You got associates. You got people that's your friend until you do something wrong, then they don't know you. I know that there was some friends that I'm not going to name no names, and they came out as gay. No, not them two together. One of them came out as gay, and he told me, and he told that person, and he told other people, and them people just left him hanging. And I turned around and I told him, I said, hey, you know, whatever lifestyle you live, that's you, me and you is still cool. I don't look at you any different. I didn't look at him no different, and you shouldn't look at him no different if you're really their friend. I had a 40th birthday party. That is the pinnacle of my life. That is the great stage. The 40 years is like one of the most top tier stages of life. I planned a big party. I invited so many people. I know a lot of people, you know, in the wrestling world, in the Christian church world, in the work world, where I came across a lot of work friends and stuff. I know a lot of people on top of family. I've came across a lot of people. So I gave out all kind of invitations and things like that. Thinking this is the biggest part, knowing that I wanted to talk about to some people, tell them what's been going on as far as my health is concerned. And when it boiled down to it, not even maybe 20% of the people that I invited came and showed up. People that I thought were my friends, my associates, that was going to be there for me since I've been sick. I've had a lot of people check up on me and stuff, and I appreciate all of that. But the people that you always thought would have your back and always would be there was the ones that let me down, and the ones that I didn't expect to be there was always there for me. So the thing about it is, we don't have friends, we have associates, I've heard. You lifelong friends are going to be there with you through it all. They're going to be there through it all. So you remember that. Lifelong friends are going to be there. They're going to be there. And you probably hear some things in the background, and I do apologize if you do. I'm trying to adjust it to where it doesn't pick up a lot of background noise. So you might hear a little difference in tone. So y'all just gonna have to bear with me. But those same friends will be those ones that would stab you in the back as well. The very ones. If you was friends with somebody and y'all had a falling out, and all of a sudden that person has leaked out some personal stuff, some secrets, some things that's inappropriate, then y'all was never friends. And even if y'all make up, y'all still ain't friends. I hate to say this, because if they did it once, they would do it again. I have had falling out with some people before, and they came back and made amends. Do I trust them fully? It's hard for me to trust them fully. No, I don't trust them fully. But a couple of them has came back, and we faced each other on the issues, and it came okay. But this is the world that we live in, where friends are no longer friends if they don't benefit them. This is the world that we live in, where the wealth and heads don't care about the less fortunate. The wealth and the heads don't care about the less fortunate. Yes. I mean, you can look at on the news, you can look at social media and stuff, where people are spending loads and loads of money. All these people got loads and loads of money that they're wasting, when there are people out there that needs help. Look at the grocery prices. Look at the prices to get items, even simple little items. They have gone up. But do you think that the media actually cares about it? No, they do not. The majority of them do not care. A lot of them, let me say it like that, a lot of them do not care. But this is the world that we live in today. This is the world that we live in, where what our ancestors fought for doesn't matter anymore. Just what we want at that moment. I'm not even just talking about black people. I'm talking about the whole world. Me personally being black, of course. They fought for our freedom to be able to do all the things fairly as the rest of the world, and we're squandering it and not doing what we supposed to do. Not wanting to work, not wanting to take care of our families, all that stuff. Just showing out. I mean, even white people are going through that too. Fought to get this land, even though we stole it or whatever you want to call it, just to turn around and squander it away. All these wars and things that we went through history, just to squander it away. And these generations nowadays don't even care. They look at it as something, as a justification and excuse. That's how they look at it. They bring it up. Let a black and a white person get into a fight or something, and here we go, Black Lives Matter and all this stuff, white power and all this stuff. It's pitiful. But this is the world that we live in today. They don't use it as a positive. They use it as a negative. We use it as justification and negatives. But this is the world that we live in today. This is the world that we live in, where we think we are smarter than God instead of acknowledging Him. Now you got so many people that say, well, the Bible isn't real, and what was in there isn't real, and all that stuff, because we gotta have some justification, because we can't believe that somebody actually walked on water. We can't believe that somebody rose from the dead. So we got to have some justification. We don't want to believe, we think that because somebody wrote the Bible, that none of the stuff is true. Now, I'll admit, it is very tempting to think, because of how our human nature is, things could get modified and all that stuff. True enough. But if you are a believer and you are led by the Spirit, you will know what God wants you to know. But why do we need to believe in a God? Well, that's your prerogative. I'm not here to judge you. But we sit back and we make these justifications just because in our mind we think, how could that be possible? We don't believe in a spirit world or a world outside of that. But that goes the same with the government. How they put stuff on TV, through the news, through the media, through movies and stuff. And because we see it with our eyes, that's what we believe, not understanding that things could be going on behind the scene. We can't believe that somebody would do such a thing. We can't believe that people cover up murders and people cover up scandals and stuff all that, because we don't see it. We don't believe that somebody so nice can do something so devious because we don't see it. We don't want to see it. So that's how we are in everything. But this is the world that we live in today. People don't want to believe there's more to it than what it is. This is the world that we live in, where what is shown to us is as is, rather than the unseen thing would be possible. Just got that out my mouth. Uh, we see these movies being made all the time where these secret agents is going around doing these things. Where we see leaders telling news people, well, we don't want the people to be in we don't want the people to be in a panic. So just tell them this. We don't want people to do this, so just tell them this. We see this in movies all the time. We see secret hideouts and stuff in movies all the time, but we think it's just a movie. Do we not think that stuff like that is real? We see where presidents have turned around on movies and will say this and that, and just so that the people won't panic or stuff. We see this all the time. So do we not believe that those kind of things is real? No, we don't. We don't want to believe it. We do not want to believe it. But this is the world that we live in. It is possible. I mean, look at celebrities all the time getting away with stuff all the time. You don't think that behind the scenes they're paying people to handle stuff like that? Hell, you see it in movies all the time where somebody has paid somebody to cover up something. Look at the Tupac movie. Guy came up to Tupac and said we need to pay these people off, and Tupac handled it. It's like that all the time, and it goes deeper than that, but we don't want to believe that. But this is the world that we live in today. You don't think that there's all these that a lot of these conspiracy theories ain't reality? No, you don't want to believe that. But some of it's just common sense. But this is the world that we live in. We live in a very corrupt world right now. Very corrupt. And people is making it no better. We live in a world where social media, people goes to social media and downplay. We don't have families no more because people is always on social media talking about one another. All men ain't so they try to date women. Then get upset when men go with men and downplay them. Men get upset with women for going with women because they're looking for somebody that can treat them right. Then let our kids grow up at trying to be adults as kids, messing their role up so they think they can do what they want to do. And it's like an ongoing cycle. And we don't want to believe that the devil is out here ruining families. We don't want to believe that. And that's exactly what he does. That's exactly what he's doing because the power of a family is strong. When a family unifies, it is strong and it is hard to break. But when you can break that bond between a family, it's something serious. And so that's why all this is going on. To keep from families coming together and being strong in the spirit. But this is the world that we live in. Announcements. The new year, you heard my episode today. It's time that we start shaking things up. It's time I start hitting tougher topics. And that's my plan. Each year, another announcement. Each year I do a manifestation fast. I always start it the day after New Year's. I'll do a Daniel fast, and I will do that for so many days or whatever if you're interested. I always do a vision board. So if you're interested, then hit me up. I'll give you information. But I always do that each year to ring in the new year. I always do it to ring in the new year. And also, it's so that I can reset my mindset and reset body and get direction from God. And if you don't believe in that, and just, if you don't believe in God or whatever, and just want to reset yourself and reset your body, it is a good way to do it. It clears your mind. So if you're interested, hit me up. I have Facebook, I have Yahoo, I have a phone. So hit me up, message me on my page. Motivation Inspired page. OWO is training wrestlers, whoever wants to learn. My brother has acquired a training center. I don't know why I'm going blank today, y'all. But my brother has acquired a training center, and most Saturdays they do their training. I'm pretty sure if you will talk to him, they can come up with a schedule to do training on other days if need be. Work around work schedules. But we are training new wrestlers. See him on his page, or you can hit me up and I can get you the information about pay and all that stuff. So just hit me up. I'm guarantee you will love our training sessions. You will love it. Very invigorating. But yes, hit me up if you want to train. Our next OWO show will be January 6th, ringing in the new year, new beginnings. That will be at Pontotoc. That will be January the 6th. Tickets will be on sale soon. So hit up the OWO, the Mega OWO page. Hit me up for info for tickets. They will be on sale. And that's at Pontotoc. You don't want to miss it. It's the first time we'll start wrestling since the end of the year. It'll be our first wrestling match, or it'll be our first wrestling show of the year. So those shows are always great and exciting shows, so you do not want to miss it. All right. Our YouTube binge song of the week. This song is by Gold Link, featuring Brent Fires and Shy Glizzy. And this song I used to binge all the time. I love this song. It is called Crew. Again, it's by Gold Link, featuring Brent Fires, Shy Glizzy. There's different types of this song around, but that is it. It's called Crew. All right. And of course, I always say what our next episode is going to be about, but you already know there's 2 more episodes in this month, and you do not want to miss them. They are going to be great episodes. Again, try to like and subscribe to my page on Facebook. Try to subscribe to this podcast through Spotify and through Anchor, which is Spotify for podcasters now. Please, I need more followers. I need more followers. I need more followers. So get them to look, because this year we're going to make some changes and do some things a little bit differently. But we will talk about that in my review episode. So please don't miss them. And that is all for today. I hope that I have made you have a good day, and I hope that you continue to have a good day. And thank you for listening and all of your support. And I hope you have a good one, and hope I can continue to motivate and inspire your life one more time.